thank you so much for watching back. So for today's video, I'm going to teach you how to create your own sketchbook, and this would be in a budgeted way. So without further ado, let's start the video. And oh, by the way, before we start, you know the drill. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified for any uploads on this channel. So yeah, here we go. Yeah, of course, let's start with the materials. For the paper that we're going to use for the Sketchpad, and I'm going to use this watercolor Fabriano paper. You can buy this in any national bookstores or in any art stores near you. This is actually just 70 pesos. There, so you can see, it's just 70 pesos for 10 sheets. And of course, we need scissors, heavy duty glue, white thread, and a big needle, and of course pencil. So these are just the materials for the actual content of our sketchbook. We'll also tackle later the things that you need to use if you plan to also make your own personalized cover for the sketchbook. So let's go. Alright, so for the first one, we need to open this, of course. This Fabriano paper is 200 GSM and it's 9 by 12 inches and it's cold pressed. What we're going to do is to cut this into halves, but it's up to you if you wanted to cut lengthwise or crosswise. So I already made one sketchbook before and I made it like crosswise. So what we're going to do now, just to have another size of sketchbook, is that we're going to cut this lengthwise. It's still up to you guys because we'll just have the same process. You can just cut it crossways or lengthwise. So what we're going to do is to just fold it in half. And then using a scissor, you can just cut it into halves. Or if you have a paper trimmer, you can also use that. That's easier because you can just put the paper in the paper trimmer and you can just slice it off using the blade that is on the paper trimmer. I already pre-cut some papers, and it's up to you how many papers you would like to use, but for me, I just used 9 watercolor papers, and since we cut each papers into halves, it gave me 18 pages in total. Our next step is to fold these papers into halves again. So we have to fold it this way. This would be the size of our sketchbook once it is folded, and then once you open it up, this would be the full length of the sketchbook. We'll just have to do this on all of the papers that we have. So let's go. I'm telling you guys, it would be just so easy. I also watched a video before on YouTube where I got this idea. I will also put the link of that video below so you can have another reference for this. Alright, so these are all the papers that were folded, and make sure that it's tightly folded. You can use something to have this pressed, but if you don't have anything to do that, you can actually use your fingers. You'll just have to really make sure that it's totally pressed so it will not appear bulgy on your sketch pad once it's done. Here's the outcome of the folded papers. Here it is. And of course, the next step is to bind them. So the next step is to stack them, and we have to make sure that they are properly or equally arranged from top to bottom, because we have to mark the sides wherein we need to poke the holes where we will be inserting the needle and the thread to bind this paper. So once we have perfectly aligned the papers, we can now mark them using a pencil. This marks will be our guide where to poke the hole where we're going to insert the thread. Alright, so we're just going to mark them, and I decided to mark it like 4 markings just to secure the actual pages of our sketchbook. Alright, so using a pencil, we'll mark it here. There we go. We have these 4 markings. So what we're going to do now is to poke them using this big needle. This is just cheap. This is, I guess, for 7 pesos. So what we're going to do is to get one of our marked papers. So if you open this like this, you can see the markings we made earlier. This and this and this. Find the marking and poke it like this. Just have to do the same thing on all the pages we have. So we'll just be doing the same thing in other papers. There, as you can see, the markings are already poked with the needle. And the next thing we're going to do here is to stitch them. Alright, so for the next step, we're just going to align this on a platform like this. You'll just have to find something that has something you can stick on the tape above and also below. And you also actually need to have thicker threads or a ribbon like this, or just a lace. So this will serve as our guide to align the papers using the thread. We'll just have to cut this in half. So what we're going to do is to align this thread on the holes that we made earlier. So it must be aligned. So we'll just use a tape to secure this lace like this. And then we'll just also do the same thing on the other holes that we did, and it needs to be aligned like this. So once you're done aligning these threads, we're going to stitch our pages. So we'll just be needing one page first. So using your needle and the thread, you'll just have to stitch it, and you have to begin here inside the paper. Then just pull the thread, and then you have to stitch it here again. Go back inside, stitch it like this, and after that you have to stitch through the hole. You have to stitch directly to the hole, so this thread. And after that you will again go back inside, and you'll just have to get through the second hole from the inside page, and you have to secure it again here. It's now secured, and then you'll just have to get through the third hole. Then just the same process, you have to secure the thread. And then get through to the next hole. Then secure the lace. There. So once you're at the end of the page, you'll just have to stitch it like this, including the ends. And you're now done with the first. When I go to the second page, so I'll just have to align it here. And then what we're going to do is just the same. So from here, you have to get inside the second page. You have to look for the hole. And then you'll just have to get back again to secure the page and the thread. We'll just have to straighten this up. And then the same process goes. So what I highly recommend you guys is to have a bigger space for your hands to fit in, and it's also for you to easily stitch the pages, and it's better for you to have longer thread. So once you're done stitching them and aligning all the threads, the Sketchpad, it will look like this. All we're going to do is to glue it with heavy duty glue, so it will be sturdy enough to hold the entire pages of this. So what we're going to do is to glue this so everything will be intact and will be sturdy. Just use this so it won't move. So this one is optional. You can put binder clips in order for the papers not to move once you glued them. So that's how it looks like, and then we'll just get our glue. You just have to glue the stitches first. So if you're gonna ask where I bought this, I actually bought this in Tutuban. We actually passed by a fabric store and I saw this one. This is just for 150 pesos, 170. So you can ask for a heavy duty glue and they'll give you this one. You also need to glue these parts. You can also use an old brush to spread the glue. Make sure that you're using an old brush because it will definitely ruin the bristles of your brush. So we'll just have to sit it there like 5 to 10 hours, then we'll pursue with the next step. Hey there guys, so yes, after a few stitches and few glues, we came up with this. So here's how it looks like after we glued it and waited for about 5 to 10 hours. Please don't mind this excess threads because we're going to glue it with the cover, so just like this. So let's check the first page. So you can see there are the stitches, and then the second page, it was actually binded by the glue itself. I actually put 2 to 3 coats of glue for this. So since we're done with the pages, we're now going to try creating a cover for this. So let's go. I'm going to use this used cardboard. You can actually use the back part or the cardboard of your used sketchbooks. And then of course we'll just have to measure this according to the size of our sketch pad. What we're going to do is to trace this. Just have to mark the side of it. Then we'll try to have a marking here to indicate the size of the side portions of the sketch pad. And we'll just have to measure the whole part of the sketch pad, and we'll just have to leave like half inches for this. What we're going to do is to cut this, and we'll just trace it on the other cardboard, so we'll come up with 2 exact same sizes for the cover. So you can use a scissor, a cutter, and just have to be careful. So once we're done cutting the first cardboard, we'll just have to trace this on the second one, and I'll just do the same thing. We'll just have to cut it, but first we'll just have, and that's it, just have to cut it. So yep, we now have 2 cardboards. What we're going to do is to score them, so we can easily fold this, and then we'll just have it glued like this. You can actually use a cutter, an X-Acto knife, but for this I'm just using my palette knife that I do not normally use. So here's how to score the cardboard. So we're not totally cutting the cardboard. We'll just have to score it so we can easily fold it this way. So as you can see it here, it's not totally cut. We're just cutting the first layer in order for us to easily bend this flap. We'll do the same thing here. So we'll just have to follow the line. Now that we have these 2 cardboards with flaps, we'll just have to glue this like this, so it will look like a book cover. So we'll still use our E7000 glue. Just glue one of the sides. So a bit like this. Use another binder just to keep this in place while the glue is drying. Here, we'll just get back to this after a few minutes. Alright, so once this dries up, it looks like this. We removed these 2 binder clips. It now looks like a book cover. We fit it here. Then we close this. This is actually how it looks like. So these are the sides. Now the next step is to cover this with cardstock, or if you wish to cover this with a fabric, that's also okay. But for me, I will be using this canvas pad because I figured out that this canvas resembles to a cloth or a fabric. That's how it looks like. So we'll be using this. I'm also going to paint something on the actual cover. We'll be peeling this off. And you cannot just easily tear it off there because it really looks like a cloth. We have to leave spaces for this because we're going to fold this and glue it on the cover itself. You can use a tape for this. Then once I fold it like this, we're going to cut these corners. Then we'll just have to take this here. So it doesn't look good yet, but we'll be inserting now the pages. So we'll just have to cut this in smaller pieces. So what we're going to do is just to glue this side and this side and this sides. We're not going to glue anything here. We'll just have to spread it like this. Place it this way. So I have to glue the first one. And you'll just have to press the excess threads on the glued surface. Don't forget to glue the threads. We look it on the top view, it looks like this, and here's the bottom part. We still need to leave this for a few minutes so we can just have something on top of this so it'll be compressed. And yeah, we'll get back to this after a few hours or a few minutes. And yep, so here's how it looks like. It's now totally dry. So if we open this, there you go. It's now totally glued. We can now perfectly use this. This is perfect for traveling, or if you're just in a coffee shop wanting to draw something or wanting to paint something, because it's small and handy. And yes, here's our finished product. I hope you have enjoyed watching this video, and I might soon paint the cover of this, so please stay tuned. Thank you so much for staying with me and for checking how I did this. May all have a good day. Bye!